Now to me this is a great distortion of the law, because the purpose of prosecution is not to get that guy whether he is guilty or not guilty. The purpose of prosecution is to get to the truth. So if you have any information which could actually help the person to prove his or her innocence, that should actually be made public rather than kept back, but this is often taken as a stand. And the third thing that I had already mentioned was that this is also taken as being the same thing as sub judice. So there is a general assumption that anything that is sub judice, and many orders have been passed on that. So this is the parameters of this. Now we could open it up.
So I just add one more point to this particular thing. Now, some decisions have been there when it involved disciplinary cases, not necessarily investigations, where when the disciplinary cases are supposed to be taken against the government servants, now is that to be construed as part of the investigation? It is not yet over, no charges have been framed, but still there are some inquiries, things like that. Now, do we construe that as part and parcel of investigation or not? There are two opinions. This also can be discussed maybe.
Would you like to
disciplinary proceedings, sir, would be seen as civil proceedings totally. So disciplinary proceedings would not come. Investigation means FIR in respect of a cognizable offence and police yes, investigation.
One more issue related to it. The CBI and anti-corruption units of the state.
Who is it? Mr.
Rana. Registered inquiries and PS Rana. The anti-corruption unit of state governments do register preliminary inquiries against certain government officials or even others also. Whether this particular inquiry which is being conducted against the official is covered under the definition of investigation or not?
No, sir.
Because this also related to his corruption charges.
But in good prehension of prosecution of offenders, that gives it a wider gamut. So, for example, one could argue, and let me again link up that the law requires that the denier of the information has to justify. So, the public authority would have to justify how, for example, at a preliminary investigation stage, if this information got out, that you were under preliminary, like this case recently of the IAS officer from Home Ministry, I think, Ravinder Singh or something. Now he was under surveillance for 6 months, or so I'm told, and they picked up all this information and then now if he had got to know he was under surveillance, then he might not have done some of the things which would have. So what I'm trying to say is that there is a question mark there. But you can make this apprehension or prosecution of offenders a larger basis. Is that so or is that not so? So that his question could get covered under.
I think by apprehension is meant arrest. The term
Or some other agency believes that if we disclose this information at this stage, it may not be possible to go into the actual truth of the allegation and then register the case against the official concerned. He might escape the punishment. Whether should we accept such logic or not? Because inquiry is a preliminary stage, no FIR has been registered. It's prior to the registration of the FIR, and when they really think that the matter requires to be investigated under the CRPC, then they register the FIR and go ahead with the investigation.
In this disciplinary proceeding, exemption under Section 8 of the Act.
I would endorse the decision of the CIC, and I respectfully differ from what Mr. Ghanshyam has just now said. Would you mean that the offenders within the government are in a superior class than the offenders whom the police investigates in a criminal charge?
No.
So therefore,
I agree.
Either class of people should be treated. If the states, if the inclusion of this provision 818 is to strengthen the hands of the prosecuting or the investigating authorities to prevent the disclosure of certain information which would affect their course of investigation, it should be available to the prosecuting arm of the government against its own employees for misconduct or misdemeanor or corrupt acts. So therefore, invariably either the government reports every case to the police so that police start with FIR, but there are certain misconducts you don't need to go to the police. You institute what is called a disciplinary proceeding. So in either case, the touchstone should be that whether, as Mr. Sekhar Singh very rightly said, the public authority, the CPIO, must conclude in a reasonable speaking order that the disclosure of this particular piece of information at this stage should have an effect on the adverse effect on the course of either the inquiry or the prosecution or the apprehension.
So that's the point.
Yeah, I agree with you that it would actually maybe impede or restrict the disciplinary proceedings in some way. But if the law is clear, then perhaps you want an amendment or change. But as the law stands, it's possible, because what you're saying is that the larger public interest requires that these be protected. I can understand that. But when the term investigation is used, it's always used in the context. Inquiry for the civil proceeding, investigation. And there are a number of judgments on disciplinary proceedings, that they are civil proceedings, these are criminal. These are inquiries, these are investigations. Both can go on simultaneously. But the law, the section reads like this. I understand what you're saying, and I can understand the Karnataka. It's a desire to protect certain proceedings so that culprits don't get away scot-free and make applications and so on. Right.
Especially this case diary of the investigation police officers, that in criminal procedure code they are not supposed to disclose that. Whether commission can order to disclose this case diaries of this police officers.
Case diaries, again, I just make a comment on that. This case diaries of any SHO, for example, it has details of various issues, not necessarily relating to a particular case or individual. Now, just giving a blanket permission to give copies of the case diaries will result in including into the other cases. Where, I am just raising this issue, the others we can debate. Where there is a possibility of severability clause, then yes, that can be given. There are two circumstances under which it can be given. One, if the case is over. The case is already over, but somebody wants to know about the details. Given then the severability clause will have to be applied in the given. Second, when the case is still pending, but for some reasons the police is not going forward, or the magistrate court, wherever it is being delayed for about 10 years, 15 years, nothing is happening. Then again, maybe you can give. Again, at the same time, I would feel that this clause 10, the severability clause, should be applied to then only given. Though it is prohibited by the police law, PS or police standing order. They say CD entries cannot be given. That's it. Thank you.
If I might just clarify this, that yes, it is forbidden, but the RTI Act overrides
Yes,
that. But I would agree with him. I would say that if the RTI Act became willy-nilly, unwittingly, a means by which investigation, etc., started getting inhibited, then it's not going to serve its purpose. In fact, it's going to go the other way around. I'm suggesting, Colin, a way which might solve the problem, the distinction between civil and all. Suppose we said it's not only just something that is being investigated, but what Mr. Rana talked about preliminary investigation, where you were even at a preliminary investigating a possible criminal offence. You see, you don't know if it is going to be or not, because only after you investigate it. So suppose you are not investigating even a possible criminal offence, then your point might be correct that the law as it stands has a problem. And one way out, therefore, would be that whenever you are doing any such thing, apart from the usual thing, you make sure that at least one possible criminal offence is there, so that you get protection under it. Because my concern is also that, there are obviously weaknesses in the law. But we have to try and develop a practical regime which does not throw out the objectives of the Act. And that is the point I'm trying to make out here. But we still have one further point, which I hope everybody in the commission, I just finished it. Everybody here would agree that we've got to use this judiciously. The way it is being used right now is that, generally speaking, anything which has to do with any investigation is covered under this. And there are CIC orders and other orders like that. So we have to build up very strict terms and conditions and rules. There are two people now to speak shy.
There's been a general trend saying that, and therefore the presumption that when somebody is being investigated for a corruption charge, वो तो corrupt होगा ही. When somebody is being investigated for some other thing, he must be guilty. Is flawed. His fundamental right remains, and my submission is that unless the person who's investigating or the PIO can conclusively prove that this will impede investigation or this will impede apprehension or prosecution, I think the balance must go in the favor of the person who's seeking information. and therefore the information must be given. Also, I would submit, if Parliament wanted to, it could have said whenever investigations are on, don't give information. Whenever prosecution is on, don't give information. But the Parliament has not said this. But the Parliament has said it should impede, and therefore you must consciously show that there will be some impeding. Only then, I think, should it be not given. And I would say, in case of doubt, err on the side of transparency.
Disclosure of documents relating to the search and seizure of operation, mainly the Panchanama during the course of inventory, is not in the public interest. The order of the CIC.
Yeah, but fortunately, with the CIC orders are not binding even on the CIC, they were on the State Information Commission. So I think we have orders, as I said right in the beginning, every Information Commission has varying orders to it. If I might just clarify, Mr. Chairman, I don't think, Shailesh, anybody was saying that without proving that it is an impediment, one should not give it. The question here was that can it be done at a preliminary inquiry stage? And yes, I think the test of impediment must always be there. But there are cases, especially at a preliminary inquiry, where somebody has done something, he or she has become careless. They are now doing. You're not invoking them to do a new crime. You're only giving them the space to hang themselves for a crime they've already done. If you tell them in advance, look, you're going to be investigated, they'll never get that evidence. But I totally agree with you that the assumption is, I don't think anybody here will disagree that the assumption must be, after all, that's not just you and I, it's the law of the land, that a person is innocent till proved guilty. And I also agree with you that a lot of judgments of the CIC and other information commissions unfortunately forget this.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to ask a particular opinion from the lawyers on the question of reasonable time. A journalist asked for a copy of the particular inquiry commission, and he was denied. And he had gone to the appellate authority, he was again denied. And the second appeal, he came to me. Okay. And then in their preliminary explanation, the Vigilance Department of the government says the government is yet to take decision on what kind of action will be taken on this inquiry commission report. Now it is 6 months. What is the reasonable time I should wait?
Can I respond? See, this is not an exemption under the RTI Act.
Don't wait.
Exactly. The point is that RTI Act does not say that you cannot give out information on which the government still has to take action. Because if it said that, government would take action on nothing. So my own suggestion is that as per the Act, it says, sorry, you can keep taking action, not take action, do what you like. Unless you can quote some actual exemption under 8. This report becomes public. That is what I would. I mean, I've asked the DOPT, for example, to give us the Alag Commission report, which talked about selection of civil services. This was presented 8 years back to the DOPT. Before
giving info.